Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Singapore. We are here for day number 4 of the Toyota World Para Swimming Championships, Singapore 2025. Here are some iconic views of the city of Singapore we have become familiar with over this last week or so. As you go into the city, you see all these wonderful structures and buildings around the place. Fantastic city, a fantastic venue for these World Para Swimming Championships. The OCBC Arena is the home to all the events this week, and we will crown another 25 world champions today in day 4 of competition. My name is Paul Noble. I'll be taking you through the action this morning, and alongside me, as always, Liz Johnson.
Good morning, Paul.
Well, some crowd activities going on here around the poolside. What's this camera we've got this morning, Liz?
I think this is a new one. It's a bongo cam. So we have a big scoreboard cube in the middle of the pool, and every day we're treated to something different. We've had dance cams, we've had flex cams, we've had fan cams. This morning it is a bongo cam.
Here we go. Something different
quite
every day
unique
for us.
I didn't bring any bongos.
No, you don't have to, I don't think. They haven't come to us in the crowd now. We're right up in the gods here. Got the sun at our backs this morning. Very hot in this arena here in Singapore. And the swimming's been hot as well. We've had some world records. I think 4 world records every single day of competition in the first 3 days. And we've got more events for us to enjoy today. It's heats all the way this morning, trying to make it into those finals tonight. So the session will last around about 2 hours, take us to about 11 o'clock local time at the end of the session this morning. Our technical officials just about making their way onto the poolside for the start of this session. And yeah, we had some good swims last night. The local swimmer, the local hero, was Yip Min Zhu, and she hit the podium in silver medal position. Not quite what she wanted, but host nation are on the medal table.
They are, and you know, the crowd were delighted. Obviously they would have probably made just as much noise if she'd won, but they made so much noise. They were just, it's always nice to see a home athlete.
Here's what we're going to expect this morning. Starting off with 100 backstroke for the S13 class, those swimmers with a visual impairment. Moving on to individual medleys, 400 freestyle breaststroke, 50 backstrokes, a raft of 50 backstrokes in the middle of the session. That will be short and sharp, these 50-meter events. And finish off with the 100 backstrokes for the S7 class, 100 freestyle S9 for men and women to bring the session to a close. As we said, it is heats all the way, and different classifications, different distances, different events. Of course, in para swimming, S1 to 10, those with a physical impairment, and S11 to 13, those with a visual impairment, with S14 swimmers with an intellectual impairment. We don't have any S14s in this morning session. We do have some visually impaired athletes and some physical impairments as well, Liz.
Yeah, we do have some relays that have gone 2 straight finals, and one of those will be the S14 relay this evening.
We'll start off with one of these visually impaired classes. Men's 100 backstroke S13. Reigning world champion Thomas van Rooij goes in lane number 5. So the S13 classes, it's a visual impairment. We'll see the S11s a little bit later on. So the S11 classification, those with no vision at all, be wearing blacked out goggles, and the 12s and 13s have got some degree of partial vision, haven't they?
Yeah, so the S12 category is the most vast, because some of those athletes can only tell the difference between light and dark, and some can see up to a metre away, what we as typically sighted people would see 60 metres away, which obviously is quite significant. And they can have a visual field of less than 5 degrees. So the S12s are quite significantly impacted. Here we'll be watching the S13s.
And it's corrected vision as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so best corrected. So if people get tested, if they do wear glasses or anything, that's what they do their test with. So whether they swim with those or not is up to them, but that is how they go through tests. And it's best eye as well, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. This is very fast, the S13 classification. We've seen some fantastic swims already, some great times set. Talso Engel from Germany setting a world record in the breaststroke in this S13 classification. And some new stars coming through in this classification, taking the medals at these World Championships, but a few of the old names in this one. A couple of these swimmers that will know each other very well indeed. The lineup for this first heat, there's only 2 heats in this one. 6 swimmers go in the first one and 6 in the second. They'll get down to the top 8. The fastest 8 will get into that final. So the lineup for this one: Genki Saito in lane number 2. We've got Gabriel Steen in lane number 3. No one taking the start in 4. We've got Thomas van Vanrooy in 5. Nicholas Turbide in 6. And Pedro Fernandez Garcia from Spain, closest to us in lane number 7. As we look at it, lane 1 will be at the top, lane 8 at the bottom, and in those centre lanes, the yellow marked lanes are lanes 4 and 5.
Yeah, well, Canada's Turbide, closest to us there, was the first to pop up. He's going well in these early stages next to Van Vanrooy of the Netherlands. They come through at the flags. Both athletes get intact. Going over 28.47 for Van Vanrooy, 28.76 for Turbide Steen. Up in lane 3, turn 3rd, 29.58. Van Vanrooy now with about half a body's length lead over Turbide as they come into the final 20 metres.
Top 2 will be guaranteed a place in the final tonight, as they are only 6 in that second heat, but a good finish there from the Canadian. Taking the tap at the end, those 2 swimmers. Turbide takes it just over the 1 minute mark, 1 minute .07 for Nicholas G. Turbide. Thomas van Vanrooy, 1 minute .72 in second position. And third place, I think, went to the Norwegian Gabriel Steen, 101.83, but that's a cracking time from the Canadian, isn't it?
Yeah, he'll be delighted with that. Injured earlier this year, so coming back, you never quite know where you're going to be at when you start testing yourself after you've had an injury. And he finished very strongly there. You see, going into the turn, there was little to separate Turbide and Van Vanrooy, but in the closing stages, Turbide finished strongly to take the touch.
I haven't spoken much about the tappers this week. We've mentioned them. Both these swimmers in this S13 class have the tapping sticks at the end. The result of heat number 1, Nicholas G. Turbide from Canada taking it in just over the 1 minute mark. Thomas van Vanrooy in second, 1 minute .72. They will progress to the final with only 6 swimmers in this second heat. 6 swimmers in the second heat. Igor Bolotov, Uzbekistan, goes in lane number 4. One from South Africa. That's Nathan Hendricks in lane number 2. Enrique Alhambra Moya from Spain in 3. Igor Bolotov, Uzbekistan, bronze medalist in the 100 free yesterday, goes in lane number 4. Alexei Vichenko from Ukraine in 5. Evgeny Losetin and Yevgeny Kavaloniak, neutral para-athletes, in 6 and 7 down there closest to us.
They're all the way cleanly. Vichenko in 5 is the first to pop up. He's just at the top there. Bottom of our shot, going well with the goatee. He is stroke for stroke with Bolotov in lane 4. It's those 2 leading the way, going to seed at the moment as they turn It will be Bolotov that gets his feet to the wall. 28.29 to Virchenko's 28.63 with Enrique Alabrama Moya in third. 29.49. Going well in sixth is Lazatin. It's those four that are out in front.
Yeah, Bolotov, newcomer to the World Championships, his first World Championships, got some experience around him, but it doesn't seem to faze him at all. Bolotov, excellent swim there from him, under the 1 minute mark, 59.31, the only one to go under the 1 minute mark. And that has sent a message to the others in this classification. Virchenko in second, 1 minute point 46. And Lausitin getting into third, 101.67. So Bolotov looking in good shape there. He got on really well, didn't he?
He did. He had company down that first 25 meters. Virchenko, they were pretty much synchronized swimming in the early stages, but when they hit that turn, Bolotov came off strongly and looked great into the closing stages. Like I said, not fazed by those more experienced athletes around him.
And he will lead the summary of the 100 backstroke S13 swimmers into that final. 59.31 for him. Nicholas Gate-Turbide will be in second position through to that final. And Virchenko will be in third position. Well, cracking final in prospect. Very fast final indeed in prospect. $200 IM for the SM11 classification. 1 and 8 only for this one. We have 9 swimmers in this event and only 1 swimmer to lose to go through to that top 8. And this is the S11 class. Well, we saw that. It's interesting, the last event there, Liz, that we saw in the first heat. There was only 4 swimmers. There was 4 swimmers that had tappers in the S13 classification. Only 1 in the second heat had tappers.
Yeah, we find sometimes in the S13 classification group, it's the backstroke where they do use tappers, because especially in this arena, the sun shines in through the side in the mornings. It's very bright, and the flags are, well, some of them are white. They're difficult to see, so obviously you don't want to miss that. So, but when you're swimming on your front, you've got the black line to follow, and there's different marks at different points on the pool. So that is why we typically see more tappers in the backstroke of the S13 classification group than anything else.
And all the swimmers here, of course, in the S11 class, they will have tappers. It's a 200 individual medley, SM11. The SM prefix just indicates that it is an individual medley event. The lineup for this one: Nandal from India in 0, Marco Meneses from Portugal in 1, Albert Gillis, experienced campaigner from Spain, making a comeback to the World Champs. His last World Champs was 2010. He goes in lane 2. David Kratoshvili, Czechia swimmer, goes in lane number 3, the rising star of this classification, the 17-year-old, already 2 gold medals to his name this week. Roger Dorsman, great victory last night in the breaststroke, Paralympic champion from Netherlands, leading them through in the early stages. Danilo Trufarov, world champion last time out in 2023 from Ukraine. His teammate Serbin was bronze medalist on that occasion. Second Spanish swimmer will be Cantero Elvira and Kozlowski from Poland, closest to us in lane number 8. So just with 1 swimmer to lose from these 9 swimmers, so they don't have to go too difficult, too hard in these qualification heats. Dorsman going well in the early stages, and Albert Gillis coming through, the Spaniard, making that return, as I said, to World Championship swimming. Last time he swam was 2010.
Well, Gillis does get the touch at the halfway point, 106.72. He's about a second and a half quicker than Dorsman on that backstroke, but already just by doing that underwater pull-out effectively, Dorsman has opened up a 2 body length lead by the time he goes through the 25-meter mark on this leg. He had a huge glide into that first turn at the end of the butterfly. There'll be more time there this evening, and we are looking at the perfect spearhead in the pool. So the fastest seed goes in lane number 4, and the idea is that then an arrow is created by the swimmers, which is exactly what we're seeing here. 146.30 for Dorsman at the turn. He's very much at the front of the pack. Like you said, ball not too much to do for some of these swimmers in the centre lane. Shufarov is now up into second, 152.83, with Kratochvil 153.40. Still going well is Gellis for Spain in 2. They'll all be through pretty safely, assuming the results are confirmed. But Dorsman, this is a procession for him this morning.
He takes a tap there into the end, reaches for the wall. Let's see the tappers here as Kratochvil finishes now. Dorsman 221.87 for the victory for the Dutch swimmer. Kratochvil 228.08 and Shufarov 228.65. Gellis will be in the final as well, in 4th position, as will Serban. Kozlowski, Cantero Elvira in 7th, and Marco Meneses will also make it ahead of Nandal in India, who's finishing in 9th place as they stand. But it was a relaxed swim. We've seen Dorsman go much faster, but wasn't hanging about too much. 221's not too bad at all, is it?
No, we've seen him in great form. He swam very well yesterday. There's that glide I was talking about on the butterfly. Probably had about half a metre, maybe. But once he'd been tapped, but that's okay. He can rectify that tonight. He knows that there's more time.
He took the tap on his head on the backstroke there, Liz. We were talking about that the other day. Some people on the backstroke, some swimmers prefer it almost on the kind of on the midriff, didn't they? On the stomach, on the chest.
Yeah, and they practice. This is something for the visually impaired swimmers. It's actually a part of their training that they have to practice regularly, because you don't want to be swimming into the wall with any doubt in your mind that you're not going to get it right.
Blacked out goggles have to be checked before the result is made official for the SM11s. All the swimmers, unless they have prosthetic eyes, will wear blacked out goggles, and these have to be checked to make sure they are indeed blacked out. As we mentioned the other day, the result is confirmed of that 200 metres individual medley. Dorsman will lead the way into the final. Meneses will make it in 8th position. Nandal, unfortunately, the man to miss out on that final.
Well, next up, it'll be the men's 100 metres freestyle S8.
Noah Jaffe and Andrew Nikolaev have got the fastest entry times into this one. Noah Jaffe from America, Paralympic Games silver medalist in Paris. He's been on decent form, Noah Jaffe. We've seen him there or thereabouts. It's almost a quick turnaround for some of these swimmers, aren't they? Because they were last event last night, last individual event for the male swimmers last night in the 100 metres butterfly, the S8 classification. And one of the first events up this morning, so a quick turnaround for these swimmers.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a number of finals that have gone direct to final, which has pushed these heats further up the programme this morning. But it's about getting yourself through, giving yourself a chance, getting a lane for that final.
So some of the swimmers who were in that butterfly final returning in this first heat. Noah Jaffe being one of them. He goes in lane number 4. Mikhail Golos right at the top there from Poland. He was in the fly final. Gabriel Silva de Souza, he was there as well. Jaffe was there. Andrei Nikolaev, silver medalist in the 400, he goes in 5. Yaraman, bronze medalist in the backstroke in 6. And Ridianin, great swim in the butterfly to take bronze yesterday. He goes in lane number 7.
Yeah, and he started very well. We're watching Silva de Souza, who always has a good start out of the block, but it's down the bottom, Edward Horodainen of the Ukraine. We saw him do this in his butterfly event. He started very well indeed, and they've gone through the turn, and it is the Ukrainian 28.24 Jaffe getting his feet to the wall second, 28.67, just ahead of Silva de Souza's 28.89. But at the moment, the speed is coming from down in lane 7. Hurricane going very well. Jaffe starts to move through in the middle, that white hat of the United States.
Yeah, coming through now to the closing stages of this one. Hurricane will be first to the wall in 59.10. You'd be delighted with that one. Look at that, entry time of 102.58. And he's certainly posting some excellent performances at these championships, Liz. He's been a real kind of breakout star of this classification. Medals in the backstroke and in the butterfly already. Noah Jaffe gets in for second position, 59.75, and Nikolaev in third, 1:87, just ahead of Yaraman. But Haridianen, that was fantastic in the heats.
Yeah, he really is riding the wave. He's swimming well and he's carrying that form day after day. Noah Jaffe, he'll be pleased. His heat swims have been right on his best times this year, so he won't be disappointed with that either. But Ukrainian having a great week here in Singapore.
As a result of that first heat, only 2 swimmers under the 1 minute mark. 59.1 for Haridianen, 59.7 for Noah Jaffe. Second heat to come. Callum Simpson, Paralympic champion, next to Alberto Amadeo, Paralympic bronze medalist. They will go in the centre lanes, and you know, they can't really be hanging about too much, these swimmers. This is one of the events, before we talked at the beginning of the championship, Liz, that you know, some of the classifications are very, very tight for qualification, and always in the big championship someone misses out in the final because they've gone a little bit too slow in the heats, left a little bit too much back. And the S8, that's happened before in this S8 classification. Michelin Zakis certainly fell foul of that one. The Greek swimmer, he goes in lane number 3, fancied to take a title or a medal, and didn't even make the final on one occasion. But these swimmers know what they've got to do in this second heat. Only 2 swimmers, as I said, from the first heat under the 1 minute, so these swimmers know what the target is.
It's true, you have to sort of watch what the rest of the field is doing, but then at the same time stick to your own race plan. And Callum Simpson of Australia in that gold cap's gone out 27.87 to Michelin Zakis is 28.95. Amadeo 29.02, just 6/100ths ahead of Canada's Maxwell. But Simpson, we've got about a body length lead over Amadeo at the moment as they come into the final 15. It is tight for the first 4, but then it's pretty clear water after that.
Yeah, Simpson swam well in the 400, and he swam well here in that 100. Well, 57.89, and that is inside his entry time by a couple of hundredths of a second. So that is an excellent swim there. And he's pleased with that one. That's a cracking swim there from Callum Simpson in the heats. Amadeo also under the 59-second mark. 58.98 for the Italian. Reid Maxwell, 59.57. So just 3 swimmers under the 1 minute mark in that second heat.
Yeah, and you can see that Simpson attacked that from the start. We saw him do that in the 400 metres as well. That's his style. It works for him. He can maintain that rate, and he looked strong. He would know that Amadeo builds through the 100. Again, once you've got that clear water, you can relax a bit. When it gets a bit tetchy is when everyone's in a line.
Big reaction from Callum Simpson from Australia, 57.89, couple of hundred seconds faster than his entry time. Amadeo, Horidian, Maxwell, Jaffe, they'll all be in the final. Michelin Zakis will make it, as will Nikolaev. And final place in that final will go to Yaraman. So under 61 to make that final. Yaraman 1 minute point 98. Just scrapes in 8th place ahead of Silva de Souza. Talk about the S8 men. Here's the S8 women under freestyle. 2 Italians in this first heat. 5 in the first heat and 6 in the second. in the S8 class. Of course, S1 to 8, S1 to 10 even. Those are physical impairments. This is S8, so we typically see swimmers, a range of impairments, of course, like you'll see in these classes. It's all about the functional ability in the water. Maybe swimmers be swimming with one arm. We saw a number of the one-arm swimmers in that men's event a little bit earlier. Maybe some of these swimmers will be affected in 2 limbs. On this lineup, we have Abby Tripp from Canada in 2, Letizia Milesi, newcomer from Italy, in lane number 3. Tina Francesca Palazzo, she goes in lane number 4, the Italian world champion back in 2022. Maria Pavlova, gold medalist and world record breaker last night in the breaststroke, neutral para athlete, going in lane number 5. And Mira Jean-Mac, who had a great swim for Germany in backstroke to take a medal a couple of days ago. That was a great day for Germany a couple of days ago, wasn't it? They had a fantastic night. 3 gold medals in the same day.
They had a run of events and it was successful even. And as we go through the 25-meter mark here, Palazzo is going well, as is her teammate Milesi, 1 lane up in 3. And it's actually Milesi who's just slightly ahead as they come into the red markers to signify 5 meters to the turn. They'll go over and it will be Milesi 33.74 to Palazzo's 34.08, sorry, to Pavlova's 34.56. Pavlova with that excellent 100 meters breaststroke last night to break that world record. She looked incredible, but now Palazzo has hit the front ever so slightly. There's not much in it, but it is just a heat swim. So the key here is to get yourself safely through to that final.
And 2 Italians might be coming in here in first and second. Palazzo definitely is going to touch the wall first. He's been a mainstay of the Italian team for a few years now. Palazzo takes it 19.48. That should see her safely into that final. Milesi in second place in 1:10.81, an improvement on the entry time for Milesi. And Maria Pavlova 1:11.32 in third place, sorry. And that should secure her place in the final. But Milesi getting faster than her entry time, Liz, and you know, debut at the World Championships, and she attacked it, didn't she?
Yes, she did, and we've talked about this again. Like when you're making your debut on this major championship field of play, you just want to give it everything you've got and know that you've got to get. So she definitely did that.
And she'll be in the final with only 6 in the second heat. Italy lead the way so far in this 100 freestyle S8. So, second heat coming up now. Got 2 very experienced campaigners in the middle lanes. Alice Tai from Great Britain and Jessica Long from the USA. Rubalcaba Nunes from Mexico in 2. Darba Rezzo having a good week from Spain in 3. Alice Tai in 4. 3 gold medals already to her name at these championships in the first 3 days. Jessica Long, the most decorated swimmer of all time in Para Swimming World Championships. 33 gold medals in the long course championships. What's that? Kukandakwe, the 18-year-old from Uganda, goes in lane number 6, and Ana Castro from Portugal in lane number 7. And a good start from Kukandakwe.
Yeah, that tall figure of the Ugandan in lane 6 got away well. All eyes will be on those centre lanes. Alice Tai of Great Britain, Jessica Long of the United States of America, already clawing back that early deficit that you would expect from both of them as they go into the turn. 33.79 Tai, 33.95 for Long. Kukandaki 34.31. It's those 3 in a line as they go through the 15-meter mark on the second 50. Long with just a bit of a lead over Tai at the moment. Both of these were in that 100 meters butterfly final last night. Long just missing out on the medals. Ty winning that one. And at the moment here, it does look like Jessica Long will come in to get the touch in this heat number 2.
Jessica Long, first World Championships back in 2006, and still going along very nicely indeed. 109.67 for the great American Alice Ty in second, 110.39, and an African record for Husna Kukandakwe. She has gone 111.76, and that's not over half a second off the African record that she held from earlier this year.
She had a great start and it set her up really well. Ty Long taking it easy this morning. Again, we talk about where the athletes are in their preparation post-Paralympic Games running into LA 2028. As you said, Jessica Long, first World Championships back in 2006. So she's taken a very different approach to this cycle. Coming here, smaller program, tried alternative training, just making sure you still love the sport, I think, if you want to stay in it for as long as she has. But she'll be pleased to get the touch in that heat number 2.
Palazzo will lead them through into the final. Jessica Long and Alice Ty will be second and third. Mira Jean-Mac is the final qualifier there in 8th position, but that was tight qualification. Just 112, low 112 to make it. Kukandakwe will make it in. That was a good swim from the Ugandan, wasn't it? And she's been very prominent in World Para Swimming and an advocate for the African nations to get involved with para sport.
Yeah, well, we talk about visibility, don't we? And I think she's mentioned how maybe there weren't as many role models in her region, and she's trying to make sure that that exposure increases.
And she'll be in the final. Here are the heat swimmers for the 400 freestyle S6. Only one heat of this one, 10 swimmers in it, and they have to go down to 8 to make that final. Bruce D, closest to us, had a good swim yesterday in the individual medley. It was an individual medley day for the S6 swimmers yesterday, so a few returning to the pool. Brendan Acosta from Colombia will go in 1. Qian Tang from China goes in lane number 2. Jesus Gutierrez Bermudez. What a swim he had in that individual medley yesterday. It was an absolutely incredible contest that he had to just get pipped for the gold medal. First of the Gutierrez Bermudez brothers in this one. Antonio Fantine, an excellent record in the World Championships. Oh, he goes in lane number 4. Taliesin Glock, he's there in number 5. Oh, Taliesin Glock, again, great record in this 400 freestyle. Fantine and Glock have had some fantastic head-to-heads in recent years. Andrei Granichka and Mikhail Evchenko, neutral para-athletes in 6 and 7. Raul Gutierrez Bermudez, a World Championship medalist in this one. Last time out, goes in 8. And El Salvador's Josu Rodrigo, close to us in lane 9.
So just one swimmer to drop from this heat. This full heat this morning. 8. No, that means there's 2, right?
2, yeah.
I can't do
10.
the math.
What's that?
It's because we started with 9.
10 minus 8.
It's the 0, it confuses me.
It does confuse
So,
us.
yes,
Confused me on the very first race. I don't think I've recovered.
Right, well, let's recover now. So 2 swimmers to drop, 8 will progress through into the final. Again, with this one heat format, it does make it slightly easier for the swimmers if they're able to keep an eye across the pool. It's not always easy to see from the middle lanes right out to the edges of the pool. But you can see what you've got to do. We're here with Taliesin Glock, who turned first, 34.14 ahead of Evchenko, 34.30, and Rendon Acosta, 34.73. Glock really burst into this event by winning that Paralympic gold back in Tokyo, and I think he surprised himself and he surprised a lot of other people with what was the swim of his life, because up until that point he'd been more of a backstroker medley swimmer, and he wasn't sure if it was a one-off, but then he backed it up in the years to come.
He certainly did, didn't he? And you never, I don't know, I mean, he's got a great record in the event, but we never really expected that he'd be this dominant in the 400 freestyle, did we? You know him well.
Yeah, and I think we talk about how different impairment types suit different events and disciplines and even sports within the para program. And actually it's quite difficult sometimes to swim the distance events, putting all the pressure on that one shoulder. We did see him yesterday get the transport, and he does have to protect that shoulder very well, so he ices it regularly because there's a lot of pressure goes through it, but he's going very well, and he has just built and built and built, and he always manages to step up when it matters. He manages his energy levels and his training and his delivery through a Paralympic cycle extremely well, and he's looking, you can tell the contrasting strokes here. Like we said, don't have to go too fast if you've got the advantage of being one of the more experienced athletes with the quicker times in the centre lanes. The pool is a complete spread at the
it's
moment.
all over the place,
With
isn't it?
Glock is leading, still going well up there is Rendon Acosta. Glock will turn at the halfway point. 2:31.99 ahead of Rendon Acosta, 2:33.74, and Evsino 2:34.10. So the top three haven't changed. Again, as we've seen with some of the other 400 heats this week, it'll be all eyes on the back end of the pool, because that's probably the more important swims at the moment. At the moment, occupying position 9 and 10 are Bruce D of Great Britain out there in 0, and Josu Rodrigo of El Salvador in 10. Probably as you would expect from the seedings. The key here is not for the middle lane swimmers not to go so easy that they get caught out by a fast finish from the outside lanes and just get touched out. But Glock still going well at the front of the pack, 3:13.14. F5 has now moved up ahead of Rendon Acosta, 3:14.75, 3:15.22. Tang is in 4th, China, and Kunichka in 5th for the neutral para athletes. Antonio Fantine comfortably swimming in the middle of the pool there. He's in 6th.
Yeah, Fantine, a great record in sprint events. Got a good record in this 400 freestyle as well. 3 times a world champion, and this is the event that he kind of burst on to the scene back in 2017 at his first world championships, the Italian, and we've seen him just challenge the podium at World and Paralympic Games ever since. So it's all kind of closing up in the middle, and the El Salvadoran Jose Rodrigo has got a little bit detached from the others. I don't think he is going to make the final, and at the moment it is Bruce D against Raul Gutierrez Bermudez for that 9th and 10th position, 8th and 9th position, sorry. So Bruce D at the moment is just in 9th, and the world bronze medalist from last time, Raul Gutierrez Bermudez, in 8th place. He's going to make that final. Taliesin Glock looks set to make the final here. Evshenko has just taken up the running 4:35.88, 4:35.91, but Taliesin Glock going well in lane number 5. It's all closing up in the middle. Look how close it is for 2nd place as Taliesin Glock comes into the final stages here, and it's almost a diagonal line across the pool as Glock will take that one in a time of 5:13.38. Granichka, Evshenko, and the challenge on the outside lane, Raul Gutierrez Bermudez will be there, the Mexican, so it will be Bruce D from Great Britain and Jose Rodrigo that will miss out there. So Taliesin Glock looking comfortable there, and we know that he's capable of going much faster than that winning time of 5:13.38. There's the El Salvadorian athlete, Jose Rodrigo. We saw him yesterday. He's got an entry time of 5:56.88. And we'll see what kind of time he can register here. Let's hope he can dip under that 6-minute mark. And he will get in, just 6 minutes, 0.34, not too far away from the entry time for El Salvador's Jose Rodrigo. But Taliesin Glock at the front of the field. Look good, Liz, but the others in the middle, it was all pretty cagey, wasn't it? We're going to see some much faster swims tonight in the final.
Yeah, it really closed up there at the end, and it shows just how much speed the other athletes can have in that second half. Antonio Fantine has an excellent turnover of speed when he attempted it, and it was only 0.4 separating these two in Paris. They always take it to the wire. It's one of the most exciting races that we get to see, and that is set up nicely for this evening, assuming those results are confirmed.
Yeah, some great shots we're getting here. Taliesin Glock is a great demonstration of the classification systems as well. These underwater shots just showing the technique of Taliesin Glock there as he wins that one from the front. Two neutral para-athletes in second and third. We're still waiting for confirmation of the result. I don't think we have that yet. Here we go. The result is confirmed. Taliesin Glock goes to the final, and it is Bruce D and Jose Rodrigo who will miss out on that final tonight. Two Gutierrez Bermudez brothers will be there, as will Antonio Fantin. Should be another good final in prospect. Flex cam again, Liz. I wish we could see these flex cams on your pictures here, but it's a great atmosphere here in the arena.
It is. Just saw Nathan Hendricks' support crew then showing off their biceps. Maybe they don't come to us with the flex cam, Paul, because they don't want you to show everybody up.
Exactly. That's the reason. One and only heat of the SB12's 100 breaststroke. Again, we have 10 swimmers, and we'll go down to 8.
Okay, I got it.
And this is the S12s. You saw the S13s a little bit earlier, Liz. This is the S12s. The vision slightly more impaired than the S13.
Yeah, as we've said before, in the SB12 category, it's probably the most widely spread of the visually impaired categories. These athletes can have a field of vision of no more than 5 degrees. And if they can typically see up to 1 meter what someone with typical sight would see at 60 meters. So it's quite a significant difference.
So we have in this one the 10 swimmers for this 100 breaststroke. Roman Michka from Ukraine, 2 from Spain in 1 and 2. Villareal Martin, Salguero Atesa, Timofey Guk, neutral para-athlete in 3. Mildaret Zumugali, Paralympic Games silver medalist from Kazakhstan in 4. Alexei Fedina, who's won multiple world titles in this event from Ukraine. Izatov, neutral para-athlete in 6. Shahov from Qatar in lane number 7. Karim Jahan Abadi from Iran in 8. And third Spaniard, Ferran Gutierrez in lane number 9. 8 swimmers will qualify for the final. Zumugali and Fedina, you would think, would be the favourites in 4 and 5.
Yeah, going well as well with them in the early stages. Salguero Ateza in 2 for Spain, and Guk, the neutral para-athlete, in 3. But Zumugali looking good for Kazakhstan in lane 4. So they go into the turn. It is Zumugali, 31.90 ahead of 32.28 for Guk and 32.59 for Sharov of Qatar.
Yeah, the entry time for Zumugali much faster than the others in this heat, but we know the likes of Alexei Fedina, world record holder, when he set that world record back in 2014 European Championships. Well, he's capable of going faster than the 104.83 for Zumugali. It's going to be outside that 104 this time, but it is going to be Zumugali into the wall. 107 for him. Guk had a good swim in 109. Salguero Atesa in 3rd position for Spain in 111.11, but it was all very tight behind. And Michka, I think, is the last swimmer to make it into the final. The 2 that will miss out, Ferran Gutierrez and Karim Jahan Abadi, look like they are in 9th and 10th as we stand.
Well, Zumugali right on his best time of this year, but no one else giving much away at all there, and it'll still be all to play for in the final. So we say it gets used a lot, this phrase, but there will be danger all over the pool. And I think with breaststroke you can slow breaststroke down in the heat and do that long glide, especially in this SB12 classification group.
And result is confirmed. Zumagali is fastest from that heat, and Guk and Soguro Etesa. Two that will miss out, Ferran Gutierrez and Karim Jahan Abadi. Alexi Fadina will be there again, Liz. Again, a fixture in World Championship finals, Alexi Fadina. Fantastic breaststroke swimmer.
Yeah, definitely a specialist there.
We see him in the 50-free, as we said, but not much more than the breaststroke in 50-free. Here's the lineup for the 50 backstroke S3. We go down the classification numbers, the more severe A impaired. Again, we've got some swimmers returning to the pool. Ahmed Kelly from Australia will go in lane number 2. Umut Unlu, Turkey, a swimmer in lane number 3. Josiah Top from Germany will go in lane number 4. Vincenzo Boni from Italy in 5. Igor Bobarev, neutral para-athlete, in 6. And Patricio Fernando Larenas Albaya from Chile goes in lane number 7. Again, we've got different types of impairment here, Liz, in the S3 classification.
Yeah, so down again, the lower numerical end of the classification system, which does signify a more significant impact on the swimming that their impairments have for these athletes. We'll see a range of starts, a range of techniques, and it does mean that the swimmers play to different strengths. So it's a game, again, a game of cat and mouse. That red hat of Toff, Germany, he'll get off to a good start. You'd expect him to pop up in the lead, and then it's a case of can the other athletes chase him down before they run out of pool.
Yeah, Vincenzo Boni, another one with high turnover of the arms. Vincenzo Boni, the Italian. He's bronze medalist at the last World Championship. Josiah Top was silver medalist in Paris last year at the great Paralympic Games. The German with that red cap. Josiah Top, you just see he uses that kind of ring starting device as well. Also from just to get into position.
Yeah, and you can see Toff using that underwater kick. Ahmed Kelly, also at the top for Australia, uses the underwater well. He does more of a breaststroke type shape kick, and it brings him up in second. Already the double arm, high turnover of Olu in Italy in 5, starting to make inroads into the early lead of the German. Kelly also with that double arm backstroke. Umut Unlu got a single high arm turnover. There's a range of strokes here, but Toff going well. Boni coming back with every stroke as predicted, but they go under the flags.
And Top has to touch with the head, obviously. Boni will hopefully time those arms correctly, but I think Top might just get it. Well, there wasn't much in that at all at the end. 51.39 for Josiah Top, 51.79 for Vincenzo Boni. And Ahmed Kelly just gets in ahead of Umut Unlu by 3/100ths of a second to claim that 3rd position. That could be vital when they come to getting that top 8 position with, well, 7 swimmers going in the 2nd heat. Good swim from Chile's Lorenas Albaya, just on the 1 minute mark, and Bobarev just under the 120 mark in 6th position. So 3/100 separating Kelly and Unlu. I wonder if that'll be vital, Liz. As I said yesterday, we haven't had a swim off yet.
Yeah, so we did say, why would you say that? But it is possible if 2 athletes tie. Obviously they've got 3/100, so it won't be a swim off between those 2. It will just be a bit of a nervous wait now for Unlu to see how this 2nd heat goes. There with Top, as we said, Paralympic silver medalist. Some of these events really do have all of the top people in the field. We've said some athletes have taken some time out this season, but not in this event.
Oh, Top is top of the heat. 51.39 ahead of Boni. Wonder what this second heat can do. 51.39 is the immediate target for the world and Paralympic champion Denis Ostapchenko, who goes in lane number 4 alongside his teammate Sergei Palmarchuk. And there's Palmarchuk. Ostapchenko, the one to beat, you would suggest, in lane number 4. Palmarchuk, already also a Paralympic medalist last year, so as you said, Liz, the top names are there. There's the world and Paralympic champion Ostapchenko. Didn't see Daniel Ferrer Robles take part in one of his events earlier this week, but he's in the water here in lane number 3 again. His Ranger starts. It's a great shot, isn't it? You didn't see the coach's hands holding the feet onto the wall.
I was just thinking no one took the label in. See them all get away, and it is Ferrer Robles of Spain who gets off the wall well. He's currently in the lead, but watch that centre lane, that high turnover, the straight arm. Limited range of motion for Denis Ostapchenko, but he does manage to propel himself with the top part of his arms very well indeed. He goes through 25 metres in the lead. Palmarchuk, his compatriot, going well, one lane closest to us in that other yellow line. It's all very close for this one. The experienced Lopez Diaz of Mexico going well in the early stages too.
Yeah, it could be Ukraine 1 and 2 here as Ostapchenko into the wall. It's going to be faster, much faster than the first heat at 46.78, and Palmarchuk 50.25. He'll be in that final. 50.56 for Sono Peru in second, and 52.38 for Diego Lopez Diaz, who's been a world champion before in his home nation of Mexico in the 2017 World Championships. But a good swim there from Ostapchenko. That sent a message to the rest, and he's got a really effective stroke list, considering that, you know, the traditional backstroke you would go in almost behind the head, but he just goes in around about the ears, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's his full range of motion, and I think that's the other thing is you have to see him swim quite fast in the heat because he doesn't have the function to be able to slow his stroke down and still effectively move through the water, as we see from some of the swimmers that went in the first heat. So that's a good indication of what Ostapchenko might replicate tonight.
46.78 for Ostapchenko. Ukraine lead the way. Peru in with a chance of the medals. They are lying in third here. And the top 8 will qualify for that final. Krzysztof Lichniak from Poland just getting in ahead of Ahmed Kelly from that first heat. So there's a number of people from that second heat made it through this. Just 2 swimmers from the first heat are in that final. 50 backstroke for women, S3. There is the lineup for that first heat. 6 swimmers in the first heat. Marta Fernandez Infante, Olympic Games bronze medalist. Again in the S3 classification. So we have Veronika Virenko from Israel going in lane number 2. Maria Pereira Barreto from Brazil in lane number 3. We've got Marta Fernandez Infante in lane number 4. Dominica Canate from Italy in lane number 5. Sonja Sigurdardottir in lane 6. And Lova Johansson from Sweden in lane number 7. That was Marta Fernandez Infante. Another swimmer with a great record in recent years by the Spanish team standards. She's a relative newcomer.
Yeah, but she is experienced, and that just goes to show the Spaniards. We did say they have a number of athletes that have been present on the international stage for decades, and that's not an exaggeration. They're missing a few of those key names this year. but they have handed over the mantle very well indeed.
Yeah, it's the third World Championships for Fernandez Infante. She's taken 4 golds at her previous championships, 2 in 2022 and 2 in 2023. So we'll see what she can do. She goes in the middle. And number 4, just looking to secure a place in this final. You would think anywhere close to the 1 minute mark, he's going to take it. Fernandez Infante, that entry time 55.74.
Take your marks.
Well off the block, well straight up into a stroke. It was Fernandez Infante. Pereira Barreta of Brazil also got away well. The Italians have added Mencinati to their squad in recent years, and she's getting better with every swim. But that there is Fernandez Infante leading the way. That flat double arm stroke of Mencinati, though, is going well through 25 meters. It's those two out in front of the rest of the field.
Yeah, Fernandez Infante and Mencinati, they were 3rd and 4th at Paralympic Games last year, and they are going to secure their place in this final. Pereira Barreto looking good for 3rd position. That might be good enough as well. We shall see. How close are they going to be to the 1 minute mark? Fernandez Infante is going to be inside, I think, just, yeah, 58, yeah, 58.91. Mencinati, 1 minute point 10. That'll be good enough for the final. And Pereira Barreto in as well, 107.18. He'll have a nervous wait for the next heat to come, but we shall see. There is Fernandez Infante. Having a look at the scoreboard as Lova Johansson makes her way in, the Swedish swimmer in lane number 7. Lova Johansson, our 2nd World Championships. He was finalist at the European Championships last year, the Swedish swimmer. Just coming into the last 10 metres or so. She'll see the flags. 1:58 was her entry time. The Swedish team, a small contingent for the Swedish team here in Singapore. We saw Conrad Hildebrand yesterday. Lova Johansson now coming in to the wall to finish. And she's in at 2:06.10. But Fernandez Infante, great talent for the Spanish team. She's that double arm backstroke. Fernandez Infante, I mean, she seems to excel when you move the 2 arms at the same time. The butterfly, you've got to bring the arms over. She's a very strong breaststroker, does the double arm backstroke.
Yeah, quite often, if coordination is a challenge for you, then when one side of your body is doing something and the other side can follow, it's a lot easier. It's why we see a lot of athletes with cerebral palsy that are hemiplegic very good at breaststroke, because their dominant side leads and their impaired side follows. And yeah, Fernandez Infante produces great strength.
She does indeed. 58.91, 1 minute point 10 for Mencinati. They will be into the final with 6 swimmers in this second heat. And the second heat will include the gold and silver medalists from Paris last year, Ellie Chalice and Zoya Shurova. They will go in lane number 4 and lane number 5. Canada, USA, Great Britain, neutral parathlete, Poland and Ukraine. That will be the lineup for this one. Second heat. So I've seen the first heat. I've seen what they have to do. Leanne Smith goes in this one for the USA. And a member of that USA relay team. It's had some success over the last couple of days. A couple of bronze medals in the relays for the US.
Yeah, and she's looked really strong on those legs. If she can get near her best, then she could challenge Chalice.
Challenge Chalice. Sounds like a TV show.
Maybe. Just waiting for the swimmers to get into position. Once again, a range of starts here.
Ellie Chalice, Paralympic champion, world champion, goes in lane number 4. she's quick reaction time from Ellie Chalice right in the middle, just behind Leanne Smith in the early stages.
Yeah, very different impairment types. That high turnover of the short limbs from Chalice. She rotates through the water really well, and she's perfected that stroke over the years. You can see that single arm stroke of Smith, just one lane up, means it's a lot slower stroke rate, but she gets much more stroke length with each rotation. They are going very well, and Shurova is going with them in lane 5. It's those three away from the rest of the field. This is the one that Ellie Chalice wants to win, so she'll be looking for safe qualification into the final this evening.
Yeah, already a silver and a bronze to her name this week at these World Champs. She would love to make it a full set in this one, Ellie Chalice, and she is going ahead of Leanne Smith then into the wall in first position. So well done, Chalice, 55.05. So that is an excellent time for Ellie Chalice, just a second and a half shy of the entry time. Second and a half shy of what she went last year in Paris. Having a chat there with Leanne Smith at the end. Leanne Smith in second place, 57.99, so she'll be pleased with that one. It's a decent time for the American. Faster than her entry time, faster than she's gone this year. And Shurova in third position, a neutral para-athlete, but it was an even start. Shurova didn't get away too well, but came through strongly in the closing stages, but Chalice was very strong, that high turnover, as we've come to expect.
Yeah, she was. She'll have a bit more in the tank for tonight. That puts her at the top of the world rankings, ahead of Fernandez Infante from earlier in the year. But as we've discussed, depending on your impairment type, depends on how much more you can give. And Chalice, she doesn't have very long limbs. She uses them very well, but it means she doesn't have that luxury always of slowing down her stroke too much in the mornings.
Chalice will lead the way into the final. 4 swimmers under the 1 minute mark, and Mitch Nati just bang on the 1 minute. Could be another close final. Yes, 4. 50 metres backstroke. A bit of a backstroke morning earlier on this.
Yeah, I would never be featuring in any of this. Why I was so worried about that label. That's why I was so worried about that label hanging out. I need all the help I can get on backstroke.
That label hanging out. I never even noticed it. I don't do material,
that is
colours,
detail
like that.
Detail.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
That
I do numbers.
Yeah, it's true, you do. You just keep doing those numbers.
Here's Arnos Petrucek. Let's check the numbers on him. World champion twice. Paralympic champion. He's going to be the man who's going to feature in this one. Uncle Camacho Ramirez. He's been on the medal podium at the last major championships, the Mexican. He goes in lane number 4. Line up for this one, Ariel Malyar from Israel into Dimitri Grandjou, who was a bit of a find for the French team last year. Went to the Paralympic Games. He's made his debut for the French team at the major championships there. Camacho Ramirez, silver medalist at Paralympic Games, goes in 4. Arnos Petrucek, Czechia swimmer, Paralympic gold medalist in Rio, and 2 times a world champion. André Sernhofer from Austria goes in lane number 6. Petrucek, of course, the former world record holder, set that world record in Sheffield in the UK, Liz. Do you remember it well?
I do.
Wasn't that the first world record you ever
Had to call.
commentated on?
It was. I blame you. But it was a great race to watch, and he still pulls it out the bag. He's got a graph to a great start here, has Petrucek. Coming up about 14 metres, he leads the way with that single leg kick, propelling him through the water. Keep your eyes on lane 4. Camacho Ramirez has been in great form here this week in Singapore. He's coming back with every stroke. Andres Ernhofer going well as well for Austria, but Petrucek still leads with 10 metres to go.
This race normally follows the same script, doesn't it? Petrocek going out strong and the others trying to come back at him in the closing stages. They're not going to this time though, because Petrocek is going to be into the wall in first position, 44.43 for him, and that's a decent time for Petrocek. Camacho Ramirez 45.40, and Ernhofer just getting in ahead of Grandjew, 46.63 and 46.90. But not a good swim from Petrocek. Hang on his entry time almost. He's second place in the world rankings this year, 43.94, so he's only half a second outside that time.
Well, he employs that butterfly leg kick driven from the hips so well, and he's been so consistent over the years for so long. And like you said, this race follows a script. It goes down to the wire generally in the finals, and everyone's heart's in their mouth.
Yeah, Petrocek, great start, and he held on to the finish. Camacho Ramirez 45.40. Expect him to go a little bit faster in the final. Certainly showing the form that he has shown this week already. A couple of bronze medals to the Mexican's name in previous events, so we know he's in good shape. Second heat sees Roman Zdanov. Well, we know he's in good shape because he just set the world record in the individual medley yesterday. Cam Leslie from New Zealand goes next to Zdanov. Leslie is the reigning world champion.
Yeah, this heat is fairly loaded as we see what they can deliver this morning. Zdanov with that excellent medley last night. He looked so strong on the backstroke leg as well. He's got a very different stroke to most people in this one, those long arms.
Yeah, he was strong at them on the backstroke in the individual medley. He's the world record holder in this one. Set that one back in Tokyo at the Paralympic Games. 40.99, very swift indeed. Matt Stopkin from Estonia go up there in lane number 3. A European medalist, would love to be on the world medal podium, the Estonian. And Cam Leslie in lane number 5. These three might be the main contenders for this one. Vino Radets from Ukraine as well is in there in lane number 6, hoping to make it into another world final.
Yeah, Topkin got off to a great start there, using his advantage off the wall, going deep underwater to pop up in the lead as they all go through the 25-meter mark. Topkin just ahead, but Zdanov and Leslie starting to pull level, and they do have the advantage of the arms to come into the wall. Zdanov with those long arms, Leslie with the stump. He'll try and finish on that right arm. It's going well for the two in the centre.
It is. Zdanov is going to be into the wall first, and it is going to be a fast time, 42.42, faster than Petrocek in that previous heat. Leslie also faster than the Czech swimmer, and Topkin 46.28. That should be good enough for him to make that final. Vino Radets just getting ahead of Miguel Luque for third position, and the Thai swimmer Kongstrip Palarom from Thailand is finishing right now in 110.87. So Zdanov looking very good indeed, the world record holder, just a second or so outside his world record time, and it looked relaxed, didn't it?
He does. He always looks relaxed on this backstroke. He's such a great technician. And there's Cam Leslie. He drives from the hips really and uses his metronomic stroke very well indeed. But Zdanov, we can see that long stretch that he has. If he can get on level terms, he does have that advantage at the end, but he obviously he's disadvantaged at the start, so it all plays out over the course of the 50 metres. He looked relaxed in his heat yesterday and then came out and absolutely smashed the world record. So I'm sure there's more in the tank for Roman Zdanov this evening.
Yeah, he knows how to qualify and he knows how to win, like he did yesterday. Zdanov will be in that final. Leslie will be there. Petrocek will be there. The top names in this class are all there, all vying for the positions. Vino Radets will get the final place in that final. Another world final for Vino Radets. He's one of the most decorated swimmers in para-swimming world championships. 17 gold medals to his name, Vino Radets, over the years.
Well, it's an experienced squad. It's a smaller squad from Ukraine. Some new faces, but they're another example of a country and squad that do very well at blending their rookies with their experienced athletes. And they double up in most classification groups. So you've always got someone to go to the call room with.
But there is an example. 2 Ukrainians in this one. Seamless, Liz, seamless.
I try. Except I can't count to 10.
Well, there's the lineup for heat number 1 of the S4. I think we're going to flag cam now before we move to this next heat.
Well, flag cam is as you would expect. The screen comes to you, and then you wave your flags. Look at all these cute young people.
There's a school just down the road, isn't it? It's just almost next door.
Yeah, I think they walk, don't they?
Yeah.
We saw some of the spectators yesterday leaving.
Yeah, it was a good crowd last night for Yip to swim in that 100 metres backstroke. She'll be back again later on in the week. She has a couple of events, doesn't she? I think 3 events this week. Good chance for the Singaporeans to hit that medal podium. And Singapore have also got some good chances from other swimmers as well. Tui Song, you should see him later on this morning in the 100 metres backstroke. So Singapore well represented at these World Championships. It's not just just one swimmer holding the team.
No, we do see that, don't we? When you have a home competition, it gives you the opportunity to bring a bigger squad, and there's usually an injection of investment both in time and sometimes finances to help develop new talent.
Yeah, we've seen that for a number of countries as well, doing that development very, very well indeed. We've got a lot of young swimmers coming through from a number of countries, and they're stepping up on the world stage and performing really well. Line up for this one length of the pool, of course. 50 metres backstroke, S4, Butkova, Polishchuk, Goncharova, Butcher, Verbova, and Larry. This is the women's 50 backstroke, S4. And it'll be a very close one, this. The entry times for the centre lane swimmers only split by around about a second.
Yeah, and again, very different strokes. So you have to swim your own race. Gina Butcher got off to an excellent start there. She does have shorter levers than the swimmers around her, so she has a high stroke rate. She's going well through the 25 metres, but going well either side of her. It is Polishchuk and Goncharova and Verbova, that red hat, that double arm backstroke of Verbova. They will look to come through ahead of Butcher. She'll work hard. She's got great endurance even in this 50 metres, but it is Verbova looking strong in this heat number 1.
Yeah, Verbova going really well. She might just take this one ahead of her teammate. And it is Verbova who takes that one. It's Goncharova in second, the neutral para athlete, and Polishchuk actually down in 4th behind Gina Butcher. Butcher had a very good finish, but Verbova looking very good indeed. I mean, she's another experienced campaigner. We like Verbova. She always wears the same colour hat or similar colours.
Easy to spot, yeah. But she's got that distinctive stroke as well, and I think we see her here with that double arm backstroke. You can see the contrast. What tends to happen then is you come close to the wall and 2 swimmers will be head to head, but watch this finish. She sort of adapts her finish because in the past, that double arm backstroke has meant she's missed out because one of the swimmers who uses single arm backstroke has managed to get in mid-stroke. So that's a nice little adaptation there.
And served her well, 51.11 for Verbova, Goncharova in second. It was close. Gina Butcher taking 3rd ahead of Polishchuk. Verbova looking good. She's been the world champion before, back in 2019. And she's pretty close to the time that she did at those world championships back then. So consistent stuff from Verbova. Here's the lineup for the next heat. We have 7 swimmers in this one. Monique Schäcker from Switzerland. And some swimmers in this one, Liz, have had a fantastic week so far. Some in-form swimmers in this Tanya Schultz being one of them. World record breaker earlier in the week in the 50 metres breaststroke. Lydia Vera de Cruz of Brazil going in 3. Katie Kubiak in lane number 4, the USA swimmer, also a world record breaker earlier this week. Mira Larionova has been knocking chunks of her times in every event that she's done. She won the IM yesterday. She goes in 5. Yulia Safonova for Ukraine in lane number 6, and Jordan Tucker for Canada in lane number 7, right down at the bottom of your screen. And Katie Kubiak, been a world record breaker this year, and her entry time is faster than the world record, so it could be going for something spectacular here.
Yeah, you can see that white hat of America before, gets straight up, straight into the stroke, nothing off the wall, but once she's moving, she propels nicely through the water. Vera de Cruz of Brazil in the blue hat with that trademark fast start, but already it is Kubiak going through 25 meters, body length ahead of the Brazilian, who's at body length ahead of Larionova and Safonova. There's a race on behind, but it is Kubiak against the clock in this one. She leads out this second heat.
Yeah, 44.68 is a world record time. Look at this now. Is it going to be inside? It's going to be very close indeed, and it is just inside. 44.13 for Katie Kubiak, and she has claimed another world record here in Singapore. An excellent swim there. Vera de Cruz comes in for the second position. Larionova, another fast finish to finish third for the neutral para-athlete, and Tanya Schultz in fourth position in that heat. But what about that swim from Katie Kubiak? Once she was into her strokes, there was absolutely no stopping her, and the world record has gone in the heats.
Yeah, Kubiak there, you can see straight up and into a stroke. As I said, she's really finding her way on this international stage. The Americans have brought a great blend of experience and newbies to this meet, and they're all working together to deliver strongly. They're having a great week here in Singapore, the Americans. Kubiak having a great week herself.
Well, it was on the cards, wasn't it, Liz? You know, the entry time there was inside the world record time, so we did expect it. We're just waiting for confirmation of the result. Scoreboard just playing up slightly, so we're waiting for confirmation of the result and see if we can just confirm that world record mark. 44.13.
There it is. It's coming. It's coming.
Here we go. Flags are waving. The lights are going. And it is a world record for Katie Kubiak of the USA. 44.13, half a second faster than the old mark. And that is just the heats.
Well, Katie Kubiak's having a great week. The swimmer from NYU. Well, from Wisconsin, but training out of NYU. I think she's found her home there. And it's going from strength to strength.
Yes, indeed. And she is going to be really tough to beat in that final. Looks like two Germans will be there in that final. As we move on to the next event, it's the men's 200 individual medley, SM5. There's the lineup for it. Spanish swimmer Antonio Ponce Bertran. Great record in this event. He goes in the middle lane in lane number 4. Well, Katie Kubiak, again, one of these USA swimmers, been a real find, hasn't she? And they've got a great team this year. Real kind of, almost a new team, a new generation of US swimmers.
Yeah, and sometimes you expect that going into a Paralympics cycle in the home games. And like, they're only going to go from strength to strength. But again, we've talked about that blend of experience and newcomers means that you can really learn from the best as you go. And I think that's the role, the main role of Jessica Long at these World Championships.
I was going to say, Jessica Long is, well, there's no one with more experience. No one has more medals at World Championships than Jessica Long. So to be on the team with a legend.
Well, she's getting to that point as well. Not many people have got more years experience than her on this world stage.
There's a few, but not many.
There are a few. We've seen them.
We have.
We've talked about them, but yes.
Heat 1 of this SM5 individual medley. Again, it's a pretty stacked field in this one. 7 swimmers in the first heat, 7 in the second. And Chayapom from Thailand in 1, Hurtaposa, Spain in 2, Tanaka from Japan in 3, Ponsbertran from Spain in 4, Chernaev in 5, neutral para athlete. Kutlu from Turkey in lane number 6, and Sebastian Masabi from Canada goes in lane number 7. Well, a little bit of feedback from the starting signal there, so the swimmers will be just relaxing for a second. Get that one sorted out. And Ranger starts, some swimmers from the water, some swimmers from the dive, and this SM5 classification is, again, we say that about the SM5s and the SM6s, the classification, a real kind of melting pot of different impairments come together in this class.
Yeah, you see the diversity of impairments. It's probably those two classifications have the most diverse range of physical impairment in them. Tanaka going out well in the early stages. He drives with his legs. No arms to propel him with. And again, you can kind of think of it as the SM5s have a more significant impairment than the SM6s, but with the similar types of disabilities that you see. And Tanaka turned 35.53. Expect him to have an excellent front end to this individual medley. Kutlu 37.38 from Ponsbertran 38.28. You can see lots of different styles of stroke, and that headshot there is a great example of that. Going well in 5 is Chernaev on this backstroke. He's got a strong breaststroke too, as Chernaev, as he starts to move through the field. He's just catching Kutlu now. Kutlu as they come into the halfway stage. You can see Tanaka has slightly eased off as they come to the halfway. Ponsbertran gets the touch. 122.58 ahead of Tanaka's 122.97. Chernaev with an excellent backstroke leg there to put him up into 3rd position. Ponsbertran is a strong breaststroker, so he is the front and leads the way.
Oh, he doesn't have the leg power the likes of Tanaka would have, but he's a very, very strong breaststroker. He's been a medalist in the 100 breaststroke at the major championships before. This is one of his strengths. And Chernaev just chasing him, giving chase to Ponsbertran. Again, Chernaev, very, very tough breaststroke swimmer. He won the SB4 breaststroke, and Ponsbertran was an SB5 breaststroker. So different classifications in breaststroke, of course, as well as individual medley, but they all coming together in this one. So the two top breaststroke swimmers lead them out, and Ponsbertran looking strong here as he comes away, heading for home.
He's going to the form guard. We saw him in the relays. He hasn't got the significantly big program that we sometimes see him swim at these championships, but he's looking good here as he comes into the final 15 meters. Chernaev still in the picture with him. This will be comfortable for those two behind them. It is still Tanaka and Kutlu, but it will be Ponsbertran stops the clock 2:53.78 to Chernaev's 2:56.92. Kutlu now just overhauling Tanaka in these final stages. Just once again we see the classification system playing out. Kutlu there touching in a time of 3:15.32. Great swim for him. Swimmer from Turkey had an entry time of 3:19.
3:19 is what the time that Tanaka has gone in 4th place, 3:19.70. So Tanaka will be in 4th position with one more heat to come. And the drums are pounding there in the crowd. School kids getting in on the act. Great atmosphere here in the morning session with these school kids in as well, aren't they? All coordinated. And Pons Bertran, though, from Spain, Tanaka led them out. Seemed to just about miss that his footing there, Tanaka, on that turn. Didn't seem to do him much harm. When we got to this stage, Pons Bertran was away and clear. Only Chernaev was able to give chase to the Spaniard. Some great camera shots that we're getting, some real close-ups, the underwater shots as well of these swimmers. Fantastic at these championships. Pons Bertran looking relaxed, looking strong. He's been the world champion before in 2022. He was silver medalist last time out, and he will be heading safely into that final along with probably Chernaev, the only two swimmers under the 3-minute mark. Heat number 2 to come. It's all gone quiet in the arena. It's waiting for these swimmers to go for the start. Podolski, Zulfik, Silva, Oliveira, Gore, Jin Cheng, Olnik, Oliveira, Ferreira, and Katav. Samuel de Silva Oliveira, member of that gold medal winning Brazilian relay team last night, along with his cousin Tiago, who goes in lane number 6. But Go Jin Cheng is the world record holder, the Chinese swimmer. Phenomenal athlete, Go Jin Cheng. He goes in lane number 4, and that familiar style of his, there's the style of Samuel de Silva Oliveira in the early stages, just hitting the world record holder in the early stages of this IM.
Yeah, they both look strong. Nothing really to choose between them in these early stages. It comes down often to the freestyle leg, where they can't use the butterfly that they would typically use in the 50 freestyle on that one. You will get a touch, 33.79 to 33.87 for Samuel de Silva de Oliveira, and then Tiago de Oliveira Ferreira was 37.66. Again, different styles of backstroke here. Guo uses that alternating leg kick, whereas Silva de Oliveira uses that butterfly leg kick on his back.
He didn't use the alternating kick until the later stages of the backstroke in the individual backstroke, did he?
No, he did that, that's correct, but I think sometimes we often see with these athletes that propel themselves entirely with their legs, especially over the longer distances. They really need to manage the lactic acid buildup in the quadriceps, particularly the top half of their legs, because it can start to really burn, especially when you move into the breaststroke and the freestyle. You go over there, 119.17 at the halfway point from 120.54, and it is Zulfik of Bosnia who has moved up into 3rd position. He's got a great breaststroke, so watch out for him, 125.73.
Yeah, Gil and the Silva are out there ahead. They look comfortable here. Again, swimmers who have been medalists in this event in past world championships. Gil is just coming now to that final turn, and again, they'll touch with the head. It will have to be the alternating leg kick for that final freestyle leg. Go Jin Cheng just getting a little bit more oxygen than we see him get in the sprint events. Just breathing every couple of leg kicks here from side to side. That's fantastic technique from the Chinese champion, isn't it?
As he goes through the 25-minute mark, you can just see how much propulsion he really gets from those legs. It's a great textbook stroke. Any non-para swimmer should watch these athletes and their leg kicks and try to replicate that, because once you put arms into that stroke as well, you fly down the pool. But you're looking strong here.
Go Jin Cheng is into the wall and in 257.56. Well, another excellent performance from the Chinese world record holder. 3:01.64 for Da Silva de Oliveira. In second place, he will be comfortably into that final. Artem Olnik, young swimmer from Ukraine. He's had a good week, Olnik. He's been a good addition to the Ukrainian teams. He should be in that final, 3:11.67. And Tiago de Oliveira Ferreira in fourth place, 3:14.90 again. Another one of those gold medal winning Brazilian relay team swimmers.
Yeah, well, top 4 finishes in that one were in that relay last night. As you said, Olnik of the Ukraine has had a great week, and there'll be more to come from him. There's more to come from all of these swimmers, I think, in the final tonight. And it'll be a really exciting race because, as we've seen from the display in the heats, a lot of different race profiles in terms of the way that these athletes swim. See there, Samuel Olivier taking a sneaky look over to his competitor.
Yeah, there's no hiding place with these cameras, is there?
No. Great turn there from Joe as he moves through. You can see, like you said, breathing almost every stroke. Down that we don't see that
alternate breathing as well,
in
both
the sprints.
sides. Yeah. Fantastic technician, isn't he? He's really kind of burst onto the scene in 2023. Multiple champion. Only qualifies in third place for that final, but he will have more to give. Ponce Bertrand and Chernaev from the first heat will lead the way. That'll be an interesting one, isn't it? Swimmers without arms, and Ponce Bertrand and Chernaev, swimmers with the longer arms, but the impairment in their lower limbs. A real contrast.
Yeah, as you say, we've said it a couple of times this week, it'll be another cat and mouse race. It'll come down to the wire, which makes it exciting for the spectators. The next event will be the women's 200 meters individual medley SM5.
There is the lineup for this one. Another Chinese swimmer, a very similar impairment. He Chengao goes in lane number 4. And this is another innovation here.
Well, in venue now, we've got a 2-man cam, which it took me a second to work out what that was. But actually, you know those inflatable sort of tubes that catch the wind and move in the wind?
Yeah.
They have those outside as you enter. I got hit on the head by one the other day. But that is what they mean with a 2-man cam. So everybody is doing their best sort of wavy, wobbly impression. Or so they should be.
It's done now. We're on to the events. I'm liking these little crowd interaction bits, though.
Yeah, every time you think they're just going to recycle, they come out with a new one.
Yeah. Great stuff. Swimmers coming out for the individual medley. SM5. Got here Onquist from Finland had a great day to take a medal on the first day of competition, the first Finnish medal we've had since 2017 at these World Championships. Berta Garcia Grau from Spain goes in lane number 1. Sevili Öztürk from Turkey in 2. Giulia Gueretti from Italy goes in lane 3. Hei Chengao, very similar impairment to her teammate Guo Jincheng, goes in lane number 4. Monica Boccioni, 2 gold medals in day 1 of competition. She goes in lane 5. Moriyu from Japan goes in lane number 6. Alessandra Olivier dos Santos from Brazil goes in lane number 7. And Maria Sivalecki from Greece goes in lane number 8. So Alessandro Oliveira dos Santos, the Brazilian, is a real find for the Brazilian team. What a fantastic breaststroke that she had on day 1 of competition.
Yeah, so watch out for her on that third leg. She had a good 50 freestyle as well. She's been swimming well, the youngster. She's fresh off that gold medal performance in the relay last night. But at the front of the field, to be expected, it is Hei Chengao and Sevili Öztürk leading the way on this butterfly. They'll have a good backstroke as well. Here is the Paralympic and world champion. She's got a strong 4 strokes as they go into the first 50-meter turn, and it's Ozturk that just gets in 0.17 ahead of he with a time of 46.41. Giulia Giretti, third turn, 52.20 with Oliveira dos Santos just behind for Brazil. Still a long way to go in this one. Difficult to see past He Shengao in this heat this morning.
Yeah, she's won both the backstroke and the butterfly events earlier this week. Both of those, of course, sprint events, 50 back and the 50 butterfly. So no surprise to see her out ahead. And Ozturk's also taken medals in both of those ones as well. So these two, as you might expect, will go out fast in this opening 100 metres of this 200 metres individual medley. Watch out for Monica Boggioni to maybe come back into things in the later stages. The Italian just around about in 4th place there, just coming into the picture. And going well is Giulia Giretti in lane number 3, but they've got a little bit of ground to make up from He Shengao. Goes over 1:36.55, 4 seconds ahead of Ozturk, who's 11 seconds ahead of Giretti in there. That breaststroke technique, breathing to the side for He Shengao.
Well, here comes the breaststroke charge of the chasing pack. We're still looking at He Shengao. We can see a lot of the swimmers in this one using that side breathing technique, which we know to be the trademark of Giretti of Italy in lane 3, and she's now closing up on Ozturk, who was our early leader. You can see that battle of the 2 white hats behind but he already onto the freestyle. 2:31.13 was the split for the Chinese athlete, and now Giretti does overhaul Ozturk, and Oliveira dos Santos using that impressive breaststroke once again to come up level with that battle. But it will be He Shengao who will come home. She's got 25 metres to go. Giretti just getting into that touch ahead of Oliveira dos Santos as they're onto the freestyle. Boggioni starting to move through the field, but we are at the front with 15 metres to go, and He Shengao of China.
And she's got this one all to herself here. No one else in the picture as she comes into the final stages. She has a lead of around about 15 metres or so. And as she comes into the closing stages, He Shengao will touch the wall in that time of 3:31.04. So a fairly comfortable swim in terms of looking at the times that she has posted in the past. Monica Boggioni came through strongly, as we thought she might, in the second half of that one to claim second. Oliveira dos Santos is in 3rd position. Great breaststroke for her, just overtaken by Boggioni for that freestyle. Giulia Giretti will be in that final. Just one swimmer to lose. We only had 9 swimmers this time, so only one will not make the final. And that swimmer is likely to be the swimmer closest to us, Tivleki from Greece, finishing in 9th position as Ornquist from Finland right at the top just claims that 8th and final place in that final. That is, of course, if the results are made official. But it was changed about a little bit in the battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, but no doubt about who was going to win that from quite an early stage.
No, and she just looks so strong across the 4 strokes, does He Shengao. Tonight will be interesting because the majority of those swimmers have a few more gears to move through. But He Shengao said she's really the class of the field. She's got the margin compared to everyone else. Chinese athletes have dominated these S5 events. Paralympics, they took gold, silver and bronze. And we saw in the men's event too, they have huge prominence.
Oh, you have a disqualification, and that was for the Greek swimmer. But doesn't affect the places at the front of the field. He Shengao, Monica Boggioni and Alessandro Oliveira dos Santos are the qualifiers in the top 3 positions. He Shengao is the Asian record holder, Liz, and very close to the world record mark. 100 backstroke S7 about to come out, and here is the lineup for the one and only heat of that 100 meters backstroke. Okay, great atmosphere here in the arena. All the school kids waving to the camera, music blaring. It's really good, these morning sessions. Swimmers trying to make it in to that final. Andrei Trusov from Ukraine goes in the middle lane in this 100 meters backstroke. I think we've seen Andrei Trusov already this week. I think his first event. Normally see him have quite a heavy program throughout the week, Andrei Trusov, but he's due to take the start in lane number 4 here.
Yeah, he often is involved in some very tight battles. He pulls it out of the bag so often, but we've talked about, again, these experienced athletes who've been on the world stage for a number of years, really taking a different approach, some of them, to these championships to preserve their longevity ahead of another Paralympic cycle.
Now the home swimmer is in this one, and that's To Wee Sung. Again, 100 backstroke for To Wee Sung. Probably not the target event that we've seen him do in the past. We normally know him as a butterfly and freestyle sprinter, but he's got a good chance to make the final in this one. Of course, make the final as a home swimmer must be a fantastic experience. He'll have his name announced, the crowd will be going crazy tonight if the home swimmer makes it into that final. To Wee Sung should make it into that final, you would think. Just got to be close to that entry time to secure that place to be in that race tonight. And you know, we've seen Portuguese organisers make the arrangements and involve a number of athletes in the kind of build-up and arrangements for these championships, and To Wee Sung was one of the designers of some of the merchandise that we have.
Yeah, they've done that very well. The Singaporean organising committee, who, as you said earlier in the week, we both now have a water bottle that is sporting the design from To Wee Sung. His best event's still to come, so he'll be looking just to lap up this experience.
Oh, first time we've seen Andrei Trusov, the world champion from 2023 and from 2022. Paralympic champion in 2021 as well. So he goes in the middle lane. We have Karpenko, Huang, Semyonovs, Ganyuk, Trusov, Picelli, Sadi, To, and Bakturov. That's the lineup for this one. We have 9 swimmers in this one, just 1 swimmer to lose. Christian Sadi off to a good start, the South African.
Yeah, he maximises his advantage off the start, uses almost all of the permitted 15 metres underwater. You can see he needed to do that as those strong, long arms of Trusov start to come through as they hit the turn. Ganyuk actually gets the turn, his feet got to the wall first, 35.31, ahead of Trusov's 35.38, Sadi's 35.50. It's all very close at the front of the field. Sadi moving himself back away from the others off the wall, but as they go through the 75-metre mark, it is the world record holder, Andrei Trusov, that leads the way.
Yeah, Trusov, as I said, his first event of the week for the Ukrainian. Let's see what kind of shape that he is in. He looks very good indeed, stretching away from the others. He is just challenged by Ganyuk in the closing stages here, but Trusov gets it, 1:12.86. Ganyuk 1:13.79. Christian Sadi was able to hold on to 3rd place there, ahead of Picelli, the Italian, in 4th, and To Wee Sung gets into the wall in 7th position, so he will qualify for that final tonight. So, job done for the Singaporean athlete, job done for Andrei Trusov, back in the water again. 1:12.86 was somewhere outside the world record, but he didn't have to go that fast. Trusov will be in the middle lane in that final tonight. Looking fairly good, comfortable from Trusov.
Well, like you said, it was some way off his best, so you'd expect him to look fairly easy. He's got time left in the tank. And he showed his experience there to qualify comfortably.
And there's the result. Andrei Trusov taking that win, 112.86. To Sung from Singapore will also make it into that final in 7th position. Andrei Trusov, good to see him back in the water again, on good form. Women's 100 backstroke S7. 2 USA swimmers in this first heat, Mallory Wegerman and Julia Gaffney. Swimmers just making their way out of the arena. I think the swimmers exit the arena after their events, and then the other swimmers come in through the same entrance, so we have to wait until things are cleared before we can get on to the next event. And here we go. Costa Rica represented by Sara Miranda Corrales. Mallory Wegerman goes in lane number 3, the USA swimmer, first of the USA swimmers. She's had a good week so far, taking gold medal in that individual medley. Julia Gaffney just outside the medals in that IM. USA swimmer going in lane number 4. There's Julia Gaffney. Sara Vargas Blanco will go for Colombia in lane number 5. Signe Bergqvist from Sweden goes in lane number 6, and Naomi Sombrella Mandano goes in lane number 7. Now, Julia Gaffney has been world champion before. She won the title in 2022. Mallory Wegerman won the Paralympic title back in 2021. So 2 experienced swimmers who have hit the top spot at the major championships. USA, as we said, having a good championships here in Singapore. We'll see if they can qualify for this final, the women's 100 backstroke S7.
Take your marks.
Well, it was a strong start for the 2 Americans. Wegerman with that tall figure up ahead of her teammate Gaffney. Vargas Blanco in 5 used the underwater well, and she is up into the lead as they go through the 25-meter mark. She has a very slight advantage, but with every stroke, those long arms of Wegerman claw her way back. Gaffney tends to have a very good second 50. She's got the disadvantage off the starts and the turns of these 3 athletes, and they go in under the flags now and into the wall. It will be Wegerman that turns first. She uses the touch turn, 40.54 to Vargas Blanco, 41.43, and Gaffney's 42.11. Vargas Blanco comes off the wall well, and now Gaffney starts to look to put the gears in and move through the field, but at the moment it's Wegerman with ever so slightly leading into the final 20 metres.
Yeah, Gaffney is coming back, isn't she? Not sure she's going to eclipse her teammate Wegerman, but she might get ahead of Vargas Blanco. Might be USA 1 and 2 here into the wall. Wegerman will take the win in that time of 124.13, so good swim from Wegerman. Again, an improvement on the entry time. She's delighted with that one. She's had some good heat swims and almost seems surprised at times when they've got to the wall there and she sees the clock. Julia Gaffney, 124.91 in second. Sara Vargas Blanco, 127.11 in third. And the 16-year-old Swedish swimmer, Signe Bergqvist, 131.82. That might be good enough for a final place, Liz.
Yes, she will watch. It will be a wait now just to see what that second heat does. Wegerman's quite consistent. She won a silver medal way back in 2010 in a time of 1:23.39, so she's really not that far off. And I think that was what excited her so much about that individual medley victory the other day. The last time she won that world title was back in Eindhoven in 2010, where she went to her first long course world championships. So, and she's just enjoying, I think, her swimming and her approach to these championships. We've said a number of the experienced athletes doing things differently this time around.
Well, USA 1 and 2, 124.13, 124.91. Wegerman trying to claim another world title. She had great games in that 2010, 8 gold medals in that 2010 World Championships.
Yeah, it was really where she announced herself on the international swimming scene.
Second heat. Nice out and ready to go. Ung Chuk Yang from Hong Kong will go in lane number 1. Shiawa Nick Braddock will go in lane number 2. Nicola St. Clair Maitland goes in lane number 3. That's the first time we've seen her this week. Veronika Korsova, who's been in great form, silver medalist behind Mallory Wegman in the individual medley. She goes in 4. Daniel Doris, world champion from 2023, she goes in 5. And Lera Orticampos from Spain in 6, with Anna Bogotreva in lane number 7, the neutral para.
Well, world champion Danielle Doris got off to an excellent start there. She's got a significant lead over the rest of the field through 25 meters, probably about 2.5 body lengths. Expect Korsova to build through the whole entirety of this 100 meters. She'll have the disadvantage at the turn, so Doris will look to move even further ahead. But now that they've settled into their strokes, that gap is definitely closing. Doris goes over 38.08 ahead of Korsova 40.28, and St. Clair Maitland 43.17 for Sweden is in third. That yellow hat in lane 3. Doris now has slowed down that stroke rate. She's cruising through the 75 meter mark. Korsova going well, 1 lane to the right of her. This is Doris, who's looking comfortable.
Yeah, she is indeed. She was another one we burst onto the scene at the Tokyo Paralympic Games, and she's been right at the top of the world rankings ever since. Korsova beginning to like a little bit of an inroad into that one. Is Doris going to have enough? She just glances over to see Korsova coming in, and Doris wins it by 0.12 of a second, 1:22. So that's faster than the first heat. So they will both progress to that final. Lera Orticampos should also be there, 1:30.37, and Bogotreva just winning that close contest with Nicola St. Clair Maitland. I wonder if that is going to be a vital touch there to see who's going to make that final. But again, it kind of followed what we thought might happen. Danielle Doris using those good, powerful legs to get away at the start and at the turn, and Korsova came back really strongly in the closing stages.
Yeah, and it'll be a race of 2 halves. Try to throw in the 2 Americans as well, and it'll be very exciting. I mean, Doris looked comfortable there. Korsova, best time for her. She's won 2 best times in the 200 meters individual medley, so expect her to go a little bit quicker tonight, the form that she's in. It's very exciting.
Well, we do have a disqualification, unfortunately, coming up on our screens, and it is quite a big one, because the winner of that previous heat, Danielle Doris, looks like she has been disqualified in this one, so that is a shock for the Canadian. Well, shock there, Liz, but you know, these technical officials, very experienced group of technical officials we've got here at the World Championships, as you would expect.
Yeah, and often athletes and nations there is the option to appeal. Obviously, we don't know what that disqualification has occurred for, but we've seen there is currently the finalists for tonight.
Absolutely, Korsova will lead the way ahead of the 2 Americans. Colombia will be represented as well, and it's good news for Nicola St. Clair Maitland, because that has made 2 sweets in the final. And there's the DQ of Danielle Doris on that caption there. So, well, one of the big names potentially not in that final. We'll watch that with interest in case there is an appeal. So, 100 freestyle, S9. Again, we're up at the minimal impairment end of the physical impairment classifications here. 1 to 10, of course, with 10 being the least impaired and 1 being the most impaired. The lineup for this one, 9 swimmers in this first heat, 10 swimmers in the second heat, so this could be very close qualification, Liz. Alhania from Iraq in 0, Escanilla Candial, Spain in 1, De Jager, Belgium in 2, Shalkano, neutral para athlete in 3, Didier from France in lane number 4, Krzyzewski, Poland in 5, Cooley, Italy in 6, Denaye from France in 7, and Tarasov, neutral para athlete in lane number 8.
Well, this is an example of one of those sets of heats where none of these athletes can really afford to hang around. Denaye of France got off the block well, as we have seen him do a number of times this week. And Denis Tarasov, the neutral para athlete, down at the bottom of the screen closest to it, is also having a superb start to this one. It's all very tight at the front as they come into the turn. And it will be Denaye 27.35 exactly with Tarasov, with Krzyzewski 27.47, and Shalkanov right there as well.
And it's very close indeed. Didier has got a little bit of work to do. The world silver medalist the last 2 occasions, Hugo Didier of France in lane number 4. He's beginning to come back now, but he's left it a little bit late here, Hugo Didier. He was down in 8th place at the turn and he's pulled through. What a finish from the Frenchman to get him ahead of the others in the field. Didier finishes 3rd, and it is France 1 and 3. Didier takes it, Shalkanov 2nd. Didier came from 8th through to 3rd, and that might be good enough for a place in the final. Krzyzewski in 4th position, just ahead of De Jager of Belgium. Didier having a great week here. Victor Didier with that victory in the breaststroke, silver medal in the individual medley, and he takes that first heat of the 100 free.
Well, he gets off to start very well and he gives himself a real chance. Didier with the impairment in his lower limbs, always slower off the starts and the turns, as you would expect, and he builds his way through. He kept his nerve there because, as you said, Paul, with 15 meters to go, he wasn't even in it, but we said it would be close. We said these athletes wouldn't be able to hang around, and you can see when the results come up on the screen just how tight it is there.
Certainly is. 56.75 for Victor Didier to take that heat number 1. 56.90 in 2nd for Shalkanov, and 57.02. Krzyzewski looking good in 57.12 as well for 4th place. And there is the lineup for that second heat. Sheen from Sri Lanka in 0, Marielle Carras and Garrido Brun, 2 Spanish swimmers side by side. Malte Braunschweig from Germany in lane number 3. Simone Barlam, the world record holder, world champion 4 times over in this event. He goes in 4. Bogdan Mosevo in 5. Vultzer, Italy in 6. Vasilenko, Ukraine in 7. Zariev Zadadi in Iran for number 8, lane number 8. And Kiovile from Laos in lane number 9.
Well, it's difficult to see past Simone Barlam for this one as long as he sticks to his plan and gets through unscathed. He's turning here in 26.08. Wolzer second through his compatriot, 27.37, just ahead of 27.58 for Brunswick. It's again very close behind the earlier race leader, going well down in lane 9. 8 is Zarif Porsevaya-Zazadi.
And Barlam just making sure here of a place in the final. They're all kind of lining up after him, but Barlam is safely into that final. 55.73. Moskevoy should also be there, 57.06, and Vultzer will be there as well in 57.14. Vasilenko, 57.32, might be there as well. So top 4, I think, definitely in. Braunschweig in 57.60. He's in a bit of trouble, but Barlam looked good though. He went away at the front of the field, just made sure that he was going to be at the front there, because he knew that would guarantee him a place in the final. 55.73 for Barlam. His world record is 52.23. I'm not sure if he's in that sort of shape, but we'll find out tonight.
Yeah, Barlam was the only one in the top 7 that kept his place from the turn to the finish. There was all change in that one, as we saw in the first heat as well, and Moscovoy finished very strongly to come through in that second position.
There's the qualifiers, 4 from the first heat, 4 from the second. How close was that in qualification? Barlam leads the way. He has a second advantage over Denaye, but there's only half a second between everyone behind him. Well, Barlam looking good. And again, he's going to be someone who's going to be very tough to dislodge from that top spot. Difficult to see past them. So nearly at the end of proceedings, Liz. Can you believe that? It's been a quick session.
It has. We did say it was a short one this morning, but the racing has been great again. It does make session go quick. We just bounce from one to another. We've got a fast heat to finish.
It's the women's 100 freestyle, S9. Just one heat again. 10 swimmers in this heat. Johanna Frukjar from Denmark goes in lane number 0. Su Jieling had that fantastic swim in the butterfly yesterday to take gold. He goes to China in lane number 1. Victoria Bianco was from lane number 2 for Italy. Emily Beecroft, also a medalist in the butterfly yesterday. She goes in lane number 3. Alexa Leary, the world record holder from Australia, goes in lane number 4. Mariana Ribeiro, world champion back in 2022. She goes in lane number 5. Mary Jibb from Canada, winner of the individual medley a couple of days ago. She goes in 6. Emma Micic,
Take your marks.
the 18-year-old from Croatia, goes in 7. Lakeisha Patterson, the experience. Lakeisha Patterson from Australia, she goes in lane number 8. And Sri Lankan Galina Vasnaike goes in lane number 9.
Well, Ribeiro of Brazil got off the block well, but that turbo kick of Leary leads her through in the centre of the port. She's already a body length ahead of the rest of the field as they go into the turn. She goes through 28.07.
That's a very, very fast time there from Alexa Leary. We'll keep an eye on the clock here. Alexa Leary, 28.0, 58.89 is the world record mark, and that was set by Alexa Leary just in May this year in Sydney, Australia. And Alexa Leary now, it's her against the clock. 58.89 is the mark. Are we going to get a world record again this morning? It's close, and it's just outside. 58.95 for Alexa Leary. 6/100ths outside the world record. Wow, what a swim from the Australian. And she is 5 seconds ahead of anyone else in the field. Mary Jibb will get in for second place ahead of Lakeisha Patterson. Micic will be in the final. Beecroft, Ribeiro, Bianco and Zhu will complete the lineup. Well, that was an incredibly quick swim from Alexa Leary.
Well, she took it out very quickly indeed. She's so strong down that first 50. There was no one else in the shot. Mary Jibb's having a great race. Admittedly, again, like we said, one heat, so the athletes knew what they needed to do. So we won't have seen the best from the rest, but no question there that Leary attacked that one.
Well, as a result, confirmed championship record for Alexa Leary of Australia. Very, very close to the world record mark. Just 6/100 second shy of that. Mary Jibb lies in second place. Lakeisha Patterson in third. And Zhu will be the 8th place swimmer to make it into that final. And that is the final swimming action, Liz, of this morning's heats. It was a short one, but it was a good one. Some quality all round. We saw that world record swim earlier by Katie Kubiak. We finished off with that championship record from Alexa Leary. We'll be back again at 17:30 local time here, and here is what we're going to expect tonight. Number of the finals. We saw some of the heats for the events that we saw this morning, and we'll also have some straight finals for the events that have gone to swimmers with 8 entrants or less. So here is what we're going to look out for. Backstroke in the middle of the session. 200 freestyles will be there for the S2s. Singapore will be hopeful that their home nation will get on the medal podium again, and we will obviously finish the session with a very exciting mixed medley relay and freestyle relays for the visually impaired swimmers and those with an intellectual impairment. That's what we got to look forward to tonight. We are officially at the halfway point of this Toyota World Paraswimming Championships 2025. We'll be back again at 17:30 local time Singapore. See you then.